The shadow bank, how war is always paid for twice. 1. The old saying is true. Wars are not fought only for land or faith. They are fought for money. Empires rise, armies march, leaders promise freedom. But behind the blood and speeches sits another empire. It has no borders. It has no flag. Its allegiance is profit. Call it the shadow bank. Without its loans, credit, and speculation, wars would end before they began. So what does that actually mean? That every war in history has had a financier in the background counting interest. Footnote. Wars cannot be waged without financing, and finance profits from both chaos and recovery. 2. Renaissance counting houses. The story starts not on battlefields, but in the banking halls of 15th and 16th century Europe. Monarchs needed armies, ships, and cannons. They lacked tax revenue. They lacked patience. Enter private bankers. The Fuggers of Augsburg funded the Habsburgs. The Medici of Florence backed popes and kings. These financiers discovered war was not chaos, it was recurring business. Each campaign was a credit line. Each peace treaty was a repayment plan. Footnote. Renaissance bankers turned recurring wars into recurring revenue. 3. National debt is born. By the 17th century, war finance became permanent. The Dutch Republic issued public bonds to fund survival against Spain. England created the Bank of England in 1694, investors bought in, kings borrowed out, taxpayers guaranteed the deal. From that moment, states fused themselves with credit. Wars were no longer just military struggles. They were financial windfalls for bondholders. Footnote. The link between national survival and public credit created modern capitalism. 4. The Rothschild lesson. The Napoleonic Wars cemented the role of the great families. The Rothschild moved money faster than navies could sail. Their couriers carried gold across borders. After Waterloo, early intelligence allowed Nathan Rothschild in London to profit spectacularly on British bonds. By the 19th century, their network financed kings, emperors, and even the Vatican. Critics accused them of fueling war. Defenders claimed they stabilized Europe. Both were right. Footnote. The Rothschild network showed that information and liquidity could be as decisive as armies. 5. The industrial era of war finance. By the late 19th and 20th centuries, shadow banking expanded with empire. Railroads, canals, and colonies were financed by bonds. The Suez Canal was secured by bankers whose dividends depended on global trade. In World War I, Wall Street extended billions in credit to Britain and France long before U.S. troops joined. Banks tied their balance sheets to Allied victory. In World War II, patriotic bonds filled the same role. Wars became investment opportunities. Footnote. Modern banking transformed wars into scalable financial projects backed by taxpayers. 6. The Cold War business model. Every proxy war meant new loans. The Marshall Plan rebuilt Europe with U.S. credit, enriching banks while stabilizing allies. Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq, each conflict generated contracts, reconstruction finance, and currency stabilization loans. The shadow bank did not care who won. It cared only that governments borrowed. War provided perfect conditions, urgent demand, unlimited need, guaranteed repayment through taxes or resources. Footnote. The Cold War entrenched war finance as a permanent profit model. 7. The modern battlefield is financial. Today, the old families no longer dominate. Hedge funds, global banks, and investment houses do. Wars are financed with derivatives, futures, and speculative flows. Defense contractors see stock spikes at the mere hint of conflict. Private equity buys distressed assets in war-torn regions, flipping ruins into profit. Modern wars often break out in resource-rich zones. Oil, gas, rare minerals, and banks sit at the center of those flows. Footnote: contemporary war finance extends beyond loans to speculation, reconstruction, and resource extraction. 8. The Invisible Empire. The shadow bank is not a conspiracy of cigar smoke and locked rooms. It is a system. Governments need money. Banks supply it. Wars return, debt expands, bankers profit. The cycle has lasted centuries. The shadow bank outlives kings and generals. Its ledgers record victories greater than any battlefield, steady, compound interest. And humor aside, this is the only empire that never loses. Footnote: the shadow bank operates as a structural feature of states, not as a hidden plot.